Feels good as always. The win's the most important thing.
Is it sunk in yet? I mean, time gives perspective, right, Mo? So, you look back at those numbers now, does it feel any different than Saturday night?
Nah, it don't. I'm excited. I'm very pleased and happy and thankful for the. I went to my friend's house, my uncle's house afterwards, and they're kind of saying like, oh, how they feel to be directors of this and that. And I was like, well, just put it this way: whether I lost or whether we won or beat the record, I'd still be here cruising with you guys. So just put things into perspective. Like life doesn't change too much. You still play ball, you still go on.
Did you throw for more than 7 touchdowns in one half on PlayStation?
No. Not even close.
It is ridiculous number though, isn't it?
Definitely is. It's hard to think of. The timing just has to be so right. I mean, there's only so much time in a half, and just to get 7 possessions is kind of hard. So that's why the defense did a great job, and everything kind of took its place in contributing to that.
No, last season with the same record, Charleston Southern comes to town. That kind of ignited this football team. That's where it all turned around. Making plays became contagious. Do you guys get that feeling that some deja vu could be happening here?
Definitely. It's after last week's loss. That's what we thought. This is where we were last year, 1-2. We ended up with a 10-win season on co-act championship. There's no reason we can't do that again. And this last game was just another deja vu incident. It's just kind of the same thing playing out. So we want to keep that going right now.
You really subdued going into the game. Versus even all week. Was it just a different mindset after what happened to UNLV?
I think it's just getting back to the drawing board, just getting ready. After a loss like loss to UNLV, you kind of rethink things and kind of start back at phase 1. Look at yourself, then see what you can do, and then as a team, look what we got to improve on.
So teams never enter the year with a finished product. You guys will grow, change, and evolve over the course of the season. Obviously, you want to be the best team you can be again. Do you feel like maybe it's similar to you as an individual? I mean, you came out first week with the rushing yards. Coaches are saying, we're going to add that in. We're going to make that more of the offense. And then you commented after the game that you're working with Rolo as part of getting a touch on people. You feel like you're taking steps forward, taking steps up, adding dimensions, or at least brushing them off?
Definitely. Definitely growing as the weeks go by, as I develop as a quarterback in this offense. Sometimes I got to make plays with my feet, and definitely throwing the ball in this offense. So that's something that I try to improve in a lot. And like you said, as the weeks go by, you got to get better at something. So every week I try to work on a weakness in my game.
Are you gonna work on sliding next?
No.
To run.
See, the thing about when I run is I try to get as much yards before I slide. And sometimes the slide might not be the prettiest, but I gotta. The point of a slide is just to not get hit. So whatever way that is, I just try to get down as fast as I can after getting as much yards as I can.
So what can I take those in 2 years ago? And everybody first got to see you as quarterback on the road at Louisiana Tech. How much different is that guy from this guy?
Not that scared anymore. Well, definitely totally different. I just kind of threw into the fire there. Not much reps at practice, and now I have over 20 games of experience, and I learned so much from my game experiences that player then is totally different now, and every week I got better. So now I'm looking forward to going back to where it kind of all started for me.
Do you think the growing pains of this young offense as a whole, the new receivers, new blockers, that's over now? That you guys are trying to now click, all be on the same page?
I definitely think we got to grow more. We're always going to have to grow especially because we're so young. But I think with everybody getting reps and I think everybody's confidence level is up. Everybody starts to believe that they can, that they can be that person. And I found that was something I had to go through, is believing in myself that I could play this game at this level. And when you're a new person, I think you try to prove yourself to others, to your teammates, to the state, that you can be a Greg Sowers, a Devon Best. You can be the Cole Brandon. You can be these guys. And I think that's something that a lot of our players are going through right now, and I think the confidence level is really getting up there.
Yeah, and you're going to hear people say, "Oh, well, it was UC Davis and da 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 da." But how valuable is it just to see some of those passes get caught, and just to see some of those routes be run the way that they're supposed to be run, regardless of the perceived level of the opponent, just to kind of be able to tangibly, visually accomplish what you guys set out to do? How much does that help?
It helps a lot. Like I said, everybody's getting, I think like 3 or 4 guys got their first touchdown this last week. It's always a big thing. Everybody's going into the game, they're thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to get to score? And the greatest thing was, I think we played like 10, 12 different receivers, and after watching film, it seemed like everybody was in the right spot. There's a few little things, guys running the wrong way, or not making the exact right reads, but for the most part, everybody was in the right spot, and so that was great to see.
Do you have an indication within yourself, or is there anything that tells you that coming off of that, now trying to take it on the road, Lafayette, a tougher team that a lot of people are kind of high on this year, that can continue? What tells you that can continue?
It definitely, this is going to be a test for us. It's going to be a tough road game. Lafayette's been in 4 battles this season. They've played everybody very well, and they're a very tough opponent. So I think this is a good test for us, but I think this past week's game was a big boost for our team and for the boys. A lot of the guys, I think our hopes are really high right now. I think our spirits are high, and I think everybody's excited to play football again. Everybody's happy to be on the field. After a loss like UNLV, spirits are low. Everybody starts to question, like, what are we doing? What aren't we doing? And all those kind of things. So after you have a win like that, guys start to believe again, and we get back going in the right direction.